Hi ladies, in this video we're going to go through dividing fractions. So 3 basic steps. We first of all, keep the first fraction the same. Okay, so the first fraction does not change. We change the division sign into a multiply sign, and then we flip the second fraction. So we keep, change, then flip. Keep the first fraction, change the sign, flip the second fraction. All right, so I've got several examples here for you, which I'll go through. So our first question, let me just get my pen ready. We've got a half divided by a third. So remember our 3 steps. We keep the first fraction, we change the sign, and we flip the second fraction. So what I mean by flip is our denominator comes on top and our numerator goes on the bottom. So instead of having 1 over 3, we have 3 over 1. And now it becomes a multiplication. So we just do 1 times 3, so we multiply our numerators, and then 2 times 1. And there's our answer, 3 over 2, and we can put that as a mixed number fraction, which is 1.5. All right, moving on to the next one. So we've got 2/3 divided by 4/3. Okay, so we keep the first fraction, we change the sign, so it's not a division now, it's a multiply, and we flip the second fraction. So instead of 4 over 3, it becomes 3 over 4. And now it's a multiplication, so we multiply the numerators. So 2 times 3, which gives you 6, and then 3 times 4, which is 12. And it's a good idea to simplify your fractions if you can. So 6 over 12, we have a half. All right, moving on to the next question. So 2/5 divided by 3/10. So we keep the first fraction, we change the sign, and then we flip the second fraction. Now it's a multiply, so 2 times 10 gives you 20, and 5 times 3 gives you 15. Okay, so we can actually simplify that. So we look at the common factor, which is going to be 5. So 5 goes into 15 and also 20. So 20 divided by 5 gives you 4. And 14 divided by 5 gives you 3. And then we can rewrite that as a mixed number. So it's 1 1/3. All right, so the next two, you can see we've got a fraction divided by a whole number. So we can still apply our rules, but if you got a whole number and you're dividing that into a fraction, just change it into a fraction. So 5 is actually the same as 5 over 1. We just don't write numbers like that, whole numbers like that, because 5 divided by 1 is just 5. But for the purposes of division, it's a good idea to rewrite your number like that. So when we do our keep, change, and flip, your 5 over 1 becomes 1 over 5. Okay, so that just reminds us how to flip that fraction. Okay, now it's a multiplication. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 5 is 20. And I can't simplify that any further, so it just stays as 3 on 20. All right, the next example is 2 on 7 divided by 2. Now I'm going to write that 2 as a fraction, so 2 over 1. Just reminds me how to flip it. So your first fraction we keep the same, the sign we change, and the second fraction we flip. So now we've got 2 times 1, which is 2, and 7 times 2, which is 14, and we can take 2 as a common factor, So that simplifies to 1 over 7. All right, I put this last one in because we've done 2 examples with an integer as our second fraction. And if it's an integer as your first fraction, you can turn that into a fraction. As your first number, you can turn that into a fraction as well. So 4, I'll just make 4 over 1. And we change, just bear with me, I'm going to erase that. I don't know why that keyboard comes up when I do that. Okay, I'll just write the division first. Okay, so I've just rewritten the 4 as 4 over 1. So we have 4 over 1, so we keep that, change the division sign to a multiply, and we flip the second, so it becomes 5 on 4. Now the reason why I rewrote the 4 over 1 is so that we remember to multiply our numerators. So 4 times 5 is 20, and 1 times 4 is 4. And then that's basically 20 divided by 4, which is 5. All right, girls. Any more questions, please let me know. Bye.